Glory to God and good morning. All right, so today's going to be one of those episodes where, I'm not really trying to sound polished. I'm just trying to be accurate because this has been sitting on me for a while. And I keep circling it like a wolf that circles a fire, but it doesn't want to step into it, right? I feel God calling me towards ministry, and I feel myself resisting it. And the part that bothers me is not resisting because I think it's wrong, right? I'm resisting because I know it's right, and I know what it costs. I know what it requires. I know what it means that I just can't keep doing the little private compromises and acting like they don't matter. I know it means that the standard goes up. And, I'm not saying that like I'm better than anybody, okay? I'm saying it like a man who just knows his own weaknesses. Because I do. I'm a broken man, right? I'm a sinner, same as everybody else. I've got things that I've done, things I've thought, things I've wanted, things I've justified. And I'm not standing up here above you. No, I'm standing up here in front of you. And that's different, okay? And I think that's why this topic matters, because I don't think that I'm the only one doing this. No, I think a lot of men right now aren't rejecting God. They're rejecting the cost of obeying him. I mean, we'll work hard, we'll grind, we'll carry physical pain, we'll work double shifts. I mean, gosh, we'll haul heavy things, we'll push ourselves into absolute exhaustion. But surrender, submission, obedience when it hits the one thing you don't want to give up. I mean, that's where men start negotiating. And that negotiation, it doesn't really look dramatic. It just looks normal, right? It looks like I'm busy, or it looks like not yet, or it looks like, I just need to get a few things in order, or it looks like I'll start when my life slows down. And I'm telling you right now, if you're waiting for your life to slow down, you're going to die waiting. And you guys, that's not me being motivational by any means. That's just me being honest. So I want to talk about calling today, but not in some sort of like mystical fake way, not like I'm hearing voices, or not like I'm special. I mean that weight you feel, that pressure, that pull, that persistent sense that you're supposed to do something right, and you just keep finding reasons to circle around it instead of step into it. And I've been thinking about how people confuse three different things and they just turn it into an absolute mess, right? You got calling, competence, right? And then you got confirmation. Calling, that's the assignment, right? Competence is training so that you can handle the assignment without wrecking other people and wrecking yourself, right? Confirmation is having other mature believers recognizing the assignment and then seeing the fruit of that assignment over time. And where us men get stuck is that we use one of these as an excuse to avoid one of the others. I mean, some men claim calling, right? But they refuse competence. They won't study, they won't train, they won't be accountable, they won't be corrected. That's just straight ego with religious vocabulary. That is as dangerous as it gets. Other men, they hide behind competence, right? They act like the training is the same thing as obedience. They'll say things like, I'm not ready yet. But what they really mean is, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to fail publicly. And I don't I don't want the standard. And listen, I can feel that in me, and that's why I'm talking about it. I know how easy it is to call fear wisdom, and I know how easy it is to call hiding preparation. I know how easy it is to call drifting just normal life. I've done it. So here's a parable that's been stuck in my head as I'm thinking about it. And it's really simple, right? But for me, it's been pretty brutal, right? Picture there's this guy in a house, and he keeps hearing the smoke alarm just chirping every night, right? And it's not the full alarm, right? It's just that chirp, right? That low battery. And it's annoying. It's messing with his sleep. It's nagging him. It makes him mad. It makes him tired. So he gets up, he rips the battery out, and then he goes back to bed. And the very next night, it chirps again because he didn't fix the problem. He just silenced the warning, right? And he tells himself, I'll deal with it later. But later just keeps getting pushed, and later keeps getting delayed. And then one night, there's actual smoke. And now he doesn't even have an alarm because he didn't remove the danger. No, he removed the warning. And I'm telling you, men do this, and we do this with conviction all the time. God just keeps tapping our shoulder, right? And he doesn't do it to torment us. He does it to protect us, right? And he does it to move you, to call you up. And instead of dealing with what God is pointing at, you just silence the signal, right? So we bury it in work. We bury it in noise. We bury it in entertainment. We bury it in our appetites. We bury it in our anger. You bury it in the words "not yet," and yeah, you feel better for a minute, but you didn't remove the danger. You just removed the warning. All right, and here's the lesson, right? And this is where the tough love comes in for both me and you. Okay, if you keep silencing conviction, you don't become free. No, you become numb. And numb men, they're dangerous in all the wrong ways. A numb man can drift into sin like it's nothing, right? Numb men, they hurt their wives, and they don't even got to raise their voices. They do it by being absent, right? Numb men, they end up raising really anxious kids because the home just feels unstable, even if nobody's yelling. Numb men avoid responsibility, and then they wonder why their life feels meaningless. So yeah, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself because I'm not immune to this. I don't get to say hard road and then live soft, okay? I don't get to tell men to be disciplined while there I am negotiating with God in private. But neither do you, right? If you're a man watching this, right, and you've got some area where you already know what you're supposed to do, and you just keep delaying it, I'm just going to say it plain. Stop lying to yourself. Stop calling your fear timing. Stop calling laziness peace. Stop calling compromise grace. Grace is not permission to stay the same, okay? What grace is it's power to change. And that kind of leads me into something that I want to say, because I think saying it really drives it home. It really makes it real. I'm going to start a Sunday lane, okay? I want to start the Hard Road Church. This is not to replace the Hard Road Hour, right? I mean, this day is what it is. This is the fight, the discipline, the current world, the hard lessons, right? It's the straight talk. But Sundays will be scripture first, I want to build it for men who want to get stable, get disciplined, and lead their families in faith. And, before somebody tries to twist it, okay, I'm not isolating women. Not at all, okay? This is for men and women. But the focus is going to be on men, because men, we are the gateway to the household. Okay, when a man gets disciplined, the whole home changes. When a man gets spiritually serious, the whole house just goes whoomp and steadies down. And when a man stops drifting, brother, your kids feel safe. Your wives breathe easier. The chaos doesn't get a free pass right into your living room through your front door. Women, y'all have been carrying this weight for a long time. And I'm not insulting that. I want to honor that. But men, it's time that you stop outsourcing this role. It's time that we stand up and we carry the weight. And I'm going to tell you why this kind of church, I think it might matter right now. Because a lot of church has turned into just comfort talk. A lot of it has turned into, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And I'm not saying that there's no place for comfort, right? There is, right? God comforts his people. But if comfort becomes the whole diet, you're going to get spiritually malnourished, guys, okay? You'll get men who know verses, but they can't control their temper, right? Men who sing songs, but they can't control their lust. Or how about men who just believe but refuse to lead? Men who can talk about God, but they still won't obey him. A hard road church, I want to build it around one line, and I want it to be burned into the culture. Because a lot of churches say, come as you are. I don't want to say that. I want to say, come as you are, but become someone different. That's it. No mask, no performance, right? No pretending, but also no staying the same. Because biblically, Jesus didn't call people to stay comfortable, okay? He called them to follow. He called them to deny themselves. He called them to take up their cross. He called them to be transformed. So here's a little call to action for you. And I want you guys to actually answer it, please. If I drop Hard Road Church, okay, and I drop it every Sunday, would you guys watch it? Would you show up like it actually matters? Would you commit to it for just a month and see what it does to your home, your mind, your discipline, your peace? And would you do it, and would you do the simplest, most powerful thing in the modern world and send it to one person and tell them to join you, okay? Not as entertainment, right? Not as entertainment, but as a discipline, as a weekly rally point. Because that's how a brotherhood forms. A brotherhood doesn't form from vibes, okay? It forms from shared standards and repeated action. Yeah. And I want a brotherhood of men who aren't ruled by mood. Men who don't spiral, okay? Men who don't disappear when life just comes rearing out of the backfield and just gets hard. Men who don't talk a big game and then just fold in private. Men who are steady, trained, and obedient. Far from perfect. Not perfect, but solid. And the crazy part is, when men gather around truth and standards, everybody benefits, okay? Homes get safer, communities get safer, churches become safer. And I'm not talking safe like padded walls and soft speech and woke ideals. No, I'm talking about safe, like strong men with controlled strength, right? Safe like men who see danger early and handle it early. Safe like men who protect without having to panic, and safe like men who can be dangerous in the right ways. And when I say dangerous, okay, I don't mean reckless. I don't mean violent. I mean capable. Capable men are a stabilizing force in a collapsing world, okay? A capable man can work with his hands, right? A capable man can think clearly under pressure. A capable man can control his temper. And a capable man, he gets better at resisting temptation. A capable man can lead his home. A capable man can show up for his brothers. Come on, that's what I want to build. And this brotherhood won't be built on drama, gossip, or internet outrage. Okay? No, it'll be built on 4 things that I think don't ever go out of style. You got truth, discipline, brotherhood, and obedience. And here's how we build it, okay, practically. And I'm keeping this simple because I really want this to be real, okay? We build it by showing up every Sunday. We build it by actually doing what we say we believe. We build it by men linking arms, and not as a clique, right, but as a standard. We build it by each man bringing one other man. And come on, you don't need a crowd to start a movement, right? You just need a core. A handful of men, right, who just decide that they're done being passive, done being unstable, done being controlled by appetite, done being controlled by fear, done being controlled by their phone, right? And the women watching, I'm saying this to you too, okay? I mean, because if you want a man who's steadier, you got to stop feeding his drift. Don't do it. You got to encourage his discipline, right? You got to encourage his obedience. Encourage him to show up. And if you're married, call him up. And don't do it with contempt. Call your husband up with respect and expectation. Because men will rise when they're given a mission and then held to a standard. So I'm going to ask you again, and I want you to answer it. If I drop Hard Road Church every Sunday, would you watch it? Would you commit to it for a month and see what it does to your life? And would you text just one person right now, right? One man, one brother, one friend, and say, yo, show up with me. We're doing this. There's this guy. Because a lone man is easier to break, you guys. A brotherhood, much harder to move. And a brotherhood that's grounded in faith and discipline, it just becomes dangerous in all the right ways. And you guys, it's not because we're looking for a fight, right? It's because we're going to be ready when that fight finds us. Because we will protect what God gave us to protect. Because we lead, we endure, and because we obey. Now, all right, here we go. Let's land this the same way I started it, with some tough love. And remember, I'm saying this, you guys, to myself just as much as I'm saying it to you. If God is calling you to something and you just keep delaying it, you're not being cautious. You're being disobedient. And I'm not saying that to crush you. I say it because I need to hear this too. Delayed obedience, that's still disobedience. So come on, let's name what we've been resisting and then take just one step today, right? Not next week, not next month. Let's do it today. Because you don't become someone different by agreeing with some video on YouTube. All right? No, you become someone different by obeying God. Walk the hard road.